What's up, Cowboy fans? Welcome. This is Gen X Cowboy coming to you from Family First Sports, where we talk all Dallas Cowboy football. What's up with y'all, man? We're going to get into the show, man. I want to get into some comments about Stephen Jones and a few other things I want to go over. Hope you guys enjoy the show. Let's get started. What's up, fans? Listen, man, I want to get it started from the top. Thank you to my subscribers. You guys are the reason why I do this. I really, really love that you guys support me so much, man. And I'm picking up one a day, man, and I really appreciate it, man. No matter how big or small, man, I'm always come here and give my best. So thank you so much for that. Let's get into the show. Stephen Jones. Now, I want to ask you guys a question. Is Stephen Jones pulling a Michael Jackson on us? Is the man pulling a king of pop on us? Because it seems to me like he's spacewalking. I'm from Georgia. I forgot. Y'all call it moonwalking. We call it spacewalking down here. He's spacewalking from his comments he had over 3.5 weeks ago when he was at the press conference when Patrick C. Walker asked him a question about the Philadelphia Eagles and how they approach free agency. And Stephen Jones said, and I'm paraphrasing, that we can't keep doing things the same and expect different results. So we're going to change it up. That's what he inferred to us, like that he was going to change something, right? Right? Then he has a press conference yesterday, and he says this.
Do you guys be aggressive? Do you and Jerry hear that? Like in how you attack free agency and looking to add players?
No, I mean, we're going to be selectively aggressive out here. I mean, we want to, obviously our goals historically have been, to try to fill as many of your must and needs before the draft so you can pick best player on your board. Didn't get that totally accomplished last year, but certainly that's always the goal, and every year's different. And then you also, have to marry up what's in free agency versus where the draft is heavy, where we can help ourselves in the draft.
Now, I was always raised, you either aggressive or you passive. I know what selectively aggressive looks like. It looks like what you've been doing for the past 7 to 10 years. You've been selectively aggressive. Selectively aggressive means you will stay in the same place that you've always been because you ain't changing. You're spacewalking. You're moonwalking again. We ain't even much in free agency yet. And you already making excuses. Look at the Eagles. The Eagles talking about getting Myles Garrett. Is that selectively aggressive? See, selectively aggressive don't win you Super Bowls. They don't even get you the NFC Championship games. It gets you right where you are, average. Yeah, last year you were below average. But as long as the money's coming in, you're okay with being average. That's what I think. I think you're fine with being average. That money ain't average, though. Ain't that right, Stephen Jones? That money ain't average. But the team is. As long as we continue to support and give you money and make money for you and your family, you can be selectively aggressive. We're gonna have a conversation, Cowboy fans. We're gonna have to shake something up, man. Let's move on. I want to give you guys a perspective of a 50-year Cowboy fan on how we can help Dak Prescott. I was fortunate to be around when we won actual championships. I was there. I watched the games and I was going through the season. I was there when we were dominant. And one thing I can tell you about those times is that Troy Aikman had help. See, Troy Aikman couldn't be Troy Aikman without Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin couldn't be Michael Irvin if it wasn't for Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith couldn't have been Emmitt Smith without an offensive line and so on and so forth. You guys picking up what I'm putting down? Dak ain't got no help. Dak got CeeDee Lamb. Name me somebody else. Rico Dowdle had one good year. He ain't got no help. And I'm not defending Dak because I think Dak got his flaws. But at least get him some help So I can know it ain't just his flaws that's taking us down. He ain't got the help that he needs. We all know Jerry didn't pull a trigger on Henry or Saquon Barkley. That could have helped Dak. Dak needs help. Emmitt Smith was Troy Aikman's help. We need more help for Dak. And even in those championships, see, people don't talk about this, but on the other side of Michael Irvin, there was Alvin Harper. And guess what? If you take the wrong angle on a slant, Alvin Harper taking it to the house. Serenata, Arrivederci. So you couldn't double Mike. CeeDee Lamb don't have that. He don't have a guy on the other side of him that's just as dangerous as him. So they double team him. They shy to his side to take him away a little bit, and he still eat. Imagine if they had somebody on the other side. So those are the two biggest holes that I think we needed to fill is go get Dak a running back and an additional wide receiver. And let's play football. Let's see where we at. I think Clayton Adams will fix that line. I think Matt Eberflus will fix the defense. And I think White Cotton will have our defensive line playing like monsters. So let's see what happens with that. All right, let's move on to Tyler Guyton. Tyler Guyton. I want to have a conversation with you guys real quick. You guys ready to move on from Tyler Guyton? I've heard content creators and the media have these mock drafts, and they're picking, if he's there, Josh Simmons for our offensive tackle position. Now, number one, I don't want to take Josh Simmons, even if he gets approved by the doctors, because I don't want to draft nobody in the first round that has a knee issue. I don't want to do that. And let's say we take Josh Simmons. That means Tyler Guyton will be battling Terrence Steele for the right tackle position. If he loses to Terrence Steele, that means we essentially threw away a first-round pick last year. Are we in that position to do that? We ain't been to an NFC Championship game in 30 years. Damn the Super Bowl. I ain't talking about the Super Bowl. An NFC Championship game. And we got the cachet. We got the nerve to pick a first rounder last year and give up on him the second year? Hell, we done had Mozzie for what, 4 years? And we ain't give up on him yet. Why we giving up on Tyler Guyton? Now, Clayton Adams made the Arizona Cardinals offensive line one of the best in football. Why he can't do that with the players we have now? What line will you take? What players will you take if you had a choice of the Arizona Cardinals line or the Dallas Cowboy line? Which line would you take as far as talent? Most of us would go with the Cowboys because there ain't no rock stars over there. It's all about coaching. I believe Clayton Adams will have Tyler Guyton looking way better next year. So let's give him a shot. All right? All right, let's move on, man. I want to talk about the draft, right? Now, I'm going to give you guys a quick 3-round mock draft that I think will get us back to the NFC Championship game. I really do. Now, our 3 biggest needs are running back, wide receiver, and defensive tackle in my estimation. That's my estimation, right? Now, my first round pick will be a running back that will set us up for the next 5 to 7 years, and that's Ashton Jeanty. I would take him with our first round pick. My second round pick would be the wide receiver from Mississippi, Trey Hill. 6'4", great hands, big wide receiver, paired with CeeDee Lamb, that's a win-win. Those 2 moves alone will help Dak Prescott. And our goal is to help our $160 million quarterback. My third round pick would be a defensive tackle that some say take players off every now and then. But when he take them on, he's unstoppable. Give me Deion Walker. And for you guys who said Deion Walker, yeah, he takes players off every now and then. They all do. That's number 1. And number 2, give me Coach White Cotton with Deion Walker. And let's see where we go. Let's see what happens with Deion Walker and Coach White Cotton. And let's see him play football. I think those 3 picks will get us back to the NFC Championship if they play up to their full potential. Okay? We're going to talk a little bit about Will McClay. Now, some of you guys question Will McClay. Some of you think that Will McClay is overrated. When I tell you these numbers here, you're going to understand the value of a Will McClay. Since 2014, the team with the most All-Pros are the Dallas Cowboys. Let me say it again. Since 2014, the team that has the most All-Pros are the Dallas Cowboys. It's not free agency. That's strictly the draft. And I got these numbers from 105.3 The Fan. Now I'm going to give you the other teams to show you the legitimacy of these numbers. Now, number 1 is Dallas. Number 2 is the Baltimore Ravens. Number 3, and I don't know how they got in here, number 3 is the Atlanta Falcons. They got the same problem we got. But number 4 is the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 5 is the Buffalo Bills. Number 6 are the 49ers. Now you tell me, what does all those teams besides the Falcons have in common? They're consistently in the playoffs. They're consistently great teams, competitive teams. We're number 1. That's the impact of a Will McClay. That's not Jerry. That's definitely not Steven. That's Will McClay and his team going to the draft, going to these colleges, finding players, his scouts, finding great players for our team. Thank you, Will McClay. And I'm so glad we signed him. They know it too. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Michael Parsons. I am not, I'm going to make this clear, I am not in the mindset of trading Michael Parsons. No way. I have a problem with him in his podcast when he first started it, and I'm okay with it now. I just don't understand why he interview his enemies in the middle of the season, but I digress. But I am not in the mindset of trading Michael Parsons. But I do have a concern. My concern is this. Most times when a player gets that type of money, we're talking about anywhere between $160 to $200 million we're paying this guy. Most people who get that type of money, they have one job. They're either a quarterback or they're whatever position they play to get the money, they focus on that one job. Michael Parsons got a podcast. They say something about he the president of Bleacher Report or want to be the president of Bleacher Report. So we're talking several jobs here, and I'm fit to pay you $200 million? That concerns me because he has shown a little immaturity so far in his career. Now he can fix that. I believe he can do it. It's doable. But do we want our $200 million player with side jobs? See, to me, your focus need to be on helping us win a championship, being the greatest player that you possibly can be, a Hall of Famer, and everything needs to be centered around that. But if you doing the Bleacher Report thing and your podcast, how is that going to be possible? That's my concern. Can he do it? I'm pretty sure he can. But just keep that in mind, man. And he has to show the maturity to handle that type of money and all the stuff come with it. Because with more money, more problems. Trust me on that. Now, you expected to get 15 to 20 sacks a year. We expect you to break the sack record. We expect you to get in the Hall of Fame. You got to dedicate your time. I believe he can do it, but that is a concern. Let's move on. Let's talk about this coaching staff. This coaching staff is the best part of the offseason so far to me. You know, when Brian Schottenheimer was hired, I was pissed. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to hold you. I was upset. And I was upset because nobody wanted Brian Schottenheimer. You know, all these former players and media comes out after the hire and said how great of a hire this was and how we Cowboy fans, we are sleeping and we're missing the big picture on this. If I was missing the big picture or anybody else was and he was such a great hire, how come nobody wanted him? Now I'm going to tell you, I do insurance. My main job is an insurance guy, right? Football is my hobby. I've been doing it for 50 years. So I watch football. I know football. That's my hobby, though. That's not my main thing, right? These other teams, this is their main job. So their job is to know what's the best options for them to be successful. And nobody had this man in for an interview. And it aligns with the Jones thinking of, we always the smartest man in the room. Ain't nobody smarter than us. So we gonna hire somebody that you didn't even think that was gonna get even an interview. And we gonna show you how smart we are. Now that's how I felt when he was hired. How I feel now. One thing I can tell you about being successful is if you surround yourself with greatness, you have a better chance to be successful. Circle is everything. So who you have in your circle gives you a better chance of being successful. And who he has in his circle? Matt Eberflus, Clayton Adams, Coach White Cotton, all these other coaches who are great coaches, even college coaches, young, hungry. I'm loving that. That gives me a little hope. But what gives me more hope than anything is that I loved your dad, man. Your dad was an amazing coach. Marty Schottenheimer had the Browns at the AFC Championship, I think, 3 times. And because how the ball bounced, he didn't get to the Super Bowl, but he was a great coach. He was a great coach. So if you got any of that in you, as far as coaching, I'm going to give you a shot. All right, guys, thank you for coming to the show. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I want to thank my subscribers again, man. You guys for rocking with me. Thank you for being there. And I plan to bring you guys some great content moving forward. All right? You guys stay up.